Do you ever look at the state of our public education system and wonder how we got here? We believe here at Florida Citizens Alliance that we have strayed as a nation way too far from our classical roots in education that built this country. Many of the initiatives that the politicians in power over the last several decades have initiated include whole language learning, balanced literacy, Common Core, and other initiatives that have limited and, quite frankly, crippled the academic valor in our education systems. They've completely crippled our students. Our mental health crisis is through the roof, and our students cannot read at grade level. They cannot do math at grade level, and not only can they not perform at grade level, they are vastly unprepared for the workforce. Gen Z alone is a great example of this. They are crying to older generations about how unprepared they feel. They're crying about their mental health. They feel vastly unprepared and abandoned by society, including the school system. And for anyone to act like Gen Z and other generations have not been completely abandoned by the government and the Department of Education and other affiliated government organizations pertaining to education, anyone pretending that these students have not been abandoned is not really looking at the facts. Because we see a direct correlation as a result of these policies that children are being left behind, they are being overlooked, and the schools are not held accountable to the same grading standards that they perpetuate for their students. It takes a 90% or above to get an A for a student to pass an exam. Why are these schools not held to that same standard? Here in the state of Florida, if a school gets above a 60%, that's a passing grade for the school district. Why is a 60% passing? Especially when these school districts are not held to the same standard they're holding their own students to. If a student has to get above a 90%, so should the schools if they want to get an A. Why are these school districts making such a diligent effort to eliminate the grading system, to eliminate the NAEP testing? Because it holds them accountable. Parents in our communities across the state are demanding answers. They want to know why these books, like It's Perfectly Normal, is in their child's elementary school library, why it's being sent home in summer reading, why it's being assigned, why any elementary school student should have any access to explicit materials when it's already explicitly stated in the law that any adult that shows a minor explicit materials ought to be persecuted to the full extent of the law. Why are we allowing educators and politicians in an official capacity to be deciding what gets taught to our children when families raise children? These children are not property of the state. They are not the responsibility of the community to raise. Yet, what is being perpetuated in these teaching colleges that are raising up an entire generation of educators? We can clap and applaud Governor DeSantis and Trump for their efforts to improve education across the country and especially in the state of Florida. However, we are not seeing a direct change as quickly as these students need it. If it takes 10 years to change the system, to change an already broken government monopolized system like public education, there are generations of children that are going through that system still while it's broken. They're aging out of it. By the time changes have occurred, the damage is done. The damage is done. Those children are not seeing the benefits of these changes. So we need to act fast. One of these solutions is starting microschools and educating parents and homeschoolers and co-ops about their legal protections in the state of Florida, including education savings accounts, which can quickly get students currently trapped in the education system out. However, simply because these DEI programs, these Common Core programs, and the like, this cultural Marxism that's present in the schools, just because we are passing legislation today to eradicate it, does not mean that any child in the current school system is going to see those changes occur. They are graduating at record rates with abysmal scores, completely unable to read, functionally illiterate, and by the time they get out of the system, it is much too late. The damage is done, their self-esteem is ruined, and they're defeated. They get thrust into a workforce where they are demonstrably unprepared while simultaneously being told if they go to college and get this degree and jump through the hoops and do the paperwork that they will get a job. I am here to tell you a little bit about who we are, what we believe, and where we're going. FLCA was founded in 2014 by retired IBM executive Keith Law and a local pastor named Rick Stevens. Keith and Pastor Rick put together a vision for an individualized personal education to unleash the learning potential in every single student across the state of Florida. Since then, we have had a number of legislative victories here in the state, including successfully eliminating Common Core standards and replacing it with the BEST standards, which stands for the Benchmarks in Excellent Student Thinking. We have also held multiple school districts accountable through legal court cases, even reaching the Supreme Court pertaining to obscenity laws, textbooks, and curricula standards. We've also increased our range here in Florida by creating solutions like microschooling to remove the opportunity for the government to keep kids who would otherwise be out of the public school in the public school due to lack of choice. Another initiative that we've successfully accomplished is we've opened up new scholarship opportunities for students across the state, including those who have been bullied in the public school system through scholarships like the Hope Scholarship. So Florida is now #1 in educational choice out of all 50 states in the country. However, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. Despite Florida ranking #1 in educational choice, Florida ranks 47th out of all 50 states in academics like reading, math, and STEM. We are inviting you to join us in our quest to create an individualized, personalized, unique education solution for every Florida family so that no student will be left behind by the public education system. One of our solutions to the massive government monopoly destroying public education is our microschooling initiative. Through non-traditional learning environments, we are opening up an entire new world for homeschoolers, co-ops, and any family that seeks to escape the public education system. There are many students that want to enroll in charter schools and private schools, but are stuck in line waiting for a lottery or waiting for a scholarship, and this empowers especially those families for a solution in the meantime while the education system is being improved. Because legislation is a process that takes time, there are many students that get left behind in the system between legislative initiatives. So we advocate for Florida families more than just in Tallahassee. We are on the ground locally in grassroots communities across the state, opening up microschools, investing in these schools, and promoting the empowerment of Florida families to believe that every single student deserves a personalized education fit for them, and actually helping them achieve that. It's more than just helping them get a scholarship or helping them get accredited through the Herzog Foundation or other types of initiatives to promote co-ops or homeschoolers in this area, like providing curricula, providing partnerships with other organizations like My Father's World and Classical Conversations. It's more than that. It's about building a community and about instilling courage, because courage is contagious, and it has been long enough that Florida is sitting at 47th on our academic score sheet. It is long enough that our students are graduating functionally illiterate, unable to give change at their jobs. It has been destroying the hearts and minds of our children that they're functionally illiterate. It's mentally ill, they do not feel prepared, and we are not sitting by and just waiting for the government to fix it through legislation. We are on the ground, we are in Tallahassee, we are fighting for Florida families, and we are actively building up schools one community at a time. So that is the vision that I'm inviting you to come join. I'm letting you know who we are, who I am, and what we believe. Please leave your comments down below. Who are you? What do you believe? And have you had any good experiences with homeschooling? Have you had any bad experiences with homeschooling? Would you be open to hearing more about microschools? And is this a solution that you believe Florida needs to hear about? Thank you so much. Please subscribe, stay tuned for more, and buckle up because we are here for the long haul. We have watchdog groups across the state here in Florida building schools, communities, and churches in order to establish a shining city on a hill here in Florida. So please leave a comment down below. Let me know, have you heard of microschooling? What's your opinion of homeschooling? And do you think that the public education system is producing literate and prepared generation of students?